What's up guys, my name is Ace, and last week we got that huge nerf to the stock attachments for Cold War weapons, or at least the stock attachments that improve your aim walking movement speed and your shooting movement speed. And while I did kind of cover the details in last week's video, I wanted to make a dedicated video now talking about whether or not I feel these stocks are still worth using on Cold War weapons. And this is quite important because before this patch, that stock attachment was on almost every single Cold War assault rifle class setup that I had in Warzone. To me, it was that big difference maker, especially for the close to mid-range assault rifles, and it's what allowed the assault rifles to overtake the SMGs in close quarter situations. So if it turns out that these stock attachments are no longer worth using, that would free up an extra attachment slot that we can be using elsewhere. So first up, let's just have a recap of the numbers here. Keeping in mind, we're talking about the 6th stock attachment, and I'm mainly just going to be focusing on the Cold War assault rifles, because these are the ones that got the biggest boost with these stocks. But our standard aim walking movement speed pre-patch was improved by 40%, and post-patch we now get a 35% improvement to our aim walking movement speed with that stock attachment. So when it comes to that, it really wasn't a massive change by any means. You still get a pretty good stray speed while aiming down sight with Cold War assault rifles and this stock attachment. However, the true power really came from the acceleration that you would get the moment you started firing your gun. And pre-patch, we would get a massive acceleration with these stock attachments, and this is the type of thing that would allow you to win gunfights that you otherwise wouldn't have won without that attachment. Pre-patch with a Cold War assault rifle using the 6th stock attachment, the moment you started firing your gun while aiming down sight, you would get about a 215% boost to your movement speed, which is insane. Now, you only get about a 10% boost to your aim walking movement speed, which is hardly even noticeable. Now, that doesn't immediately mean that these stock attachments are useless. We still have to see what they're like in action. They're obviously not nearly as good as what they used to be, but are they still good enough? Well, I think one of the best ways to look at this is to see what it looks like from the enemy's perspective at 10 meters here. This is pre-patch with the XM4 using the Raider stock, and as you can see, this player is bouncing back and forth so quickly that, especially in an online environment, many players are going to have a very hard time tracking this target in a gunfight. He's just moving so quickly and changing direction so quickly as well that that's definitely going to throw most players' aim off. Now, let's see what it looks like with that exact same setup post-patch, again at the exact same distance as well. This is at 10 meters. And as you can see here, that player is still strafing back and forth pretty quickly. It's not that bad. It's still going to be helping in a gunfight, and it will likely still help you dodge a few bullets and throw people's aim off a little bit, but just not nearly to the same extent that it used to. And after looking at this comparison side by side from the most important perspective in my opinion, that's the enemy's perspective here, I still feel like that 6th stock attachment for Cold War assault rifles is a very viable choice, and I'm still likely going to be using it on some of my more close to mid-range assault rifle setups. Having said that though, it's very obviously not nearly as good as it used to be when it comes to just being that gunfight winner for you. And therefore, I would say it's become much less of a crutch attachment for those close to mid-range assault rifles, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's a mistake now to not be using that stock attachment. Whereas pre-patch, you would just be sacrificing so much potential that I would say it was a mistake to not use that attachment for the close to mid-range assault rifles. And this, in my mind, is the best case scenario. These attachments are still very viable. They didn't nerf it completely into the ground to the point where it's unusable and you never want to be touching it. But it's now no longer that obvious choice that you should absolutely be running on any close to mid-range assault rifle builds. Additionally, if we're looking at the overall health of weapon balance in Warzone, I also think this was the best change they could have made because now SMGs once again have that upper hand in close quarter situations, whereas pre-patch with those ridiculous aim walking movement speeds while shooting on Cold War assault rifles, SMGs were often not the best choice for close quarters. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's going to wrap it up for today's quick video. Just wanted to show you guys that side-by-side comparison from a third-person perspective and dive a little bit deeper into this stock nerf. Of course, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what did you guys think of this nerf to the 6th stock attachment for Cold War weapons in Warzone? Also, are you still using that 6th stock attachment on your Cold War weapons, or have you started to stray away from that a little bit and use something else? Just let me know those thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.